Good morning, I bid to Dr. Rose. My name is April from K1 Group 3, and I'll be presenting the ecological and economic importance of primary producer. Me and my friend Shafi will explain the ecological importance of seaweed in wastewater treatment, while Fairuz and Afifi will explain the economic importance of seaweed as direct human food. What is wastewater? Inadequately treated or untreated wastewater greatly contribute to the release of unwanted toxic contaminants into water bodies. The aim of wastewater treatment is to remove as much of the suspended solids as possible before the remaining water, that called effluent, is discharged back to the environment. The importance of seaweed in wastewater treatment are removing pollutants in the water. Seaweeds have varying intrinsic characteristics. Seaweeds has potential agents to treat wastewater because of the presence of sulfated polysaccharides in the cellular wall of microalgae, especially its fibril matrix and intercellular spaces. Seaweed has high capacity to bind pollutants such as trace metals and has an absorbent in order to replace the functional activated carbon. There are two types of water treatment method, which is adsorption versus bioadsorption. Compared to other wastewater treatment technologies, the absorption method overall is most efficient. Why? It is its easy availability, handling, and higher efficiency with a low cost relative to other treatments. Bioadsorption using naturally found seaweeds have been proven to have promising results in removing pollutants such as dyes from textile, paper and printing industries, nitrogen, phosphorus, and phenolic compounds, and also heavy metals. Seaweed application in wastewater treatment. Its limited studies on COD and BOD removal, carbon fixation, lipid production, total organic carbon (TOC), and turbidity from wastewater using seaweed. Majority focus on the removal of dyes, phenols, and heavy metal. COD, or chemical oxygen demand, is the total measurement of all chemicals, whether inorganic and organic, in wastewater, while BOD is the measure of the amount of oxygen that required for bacteria to degrade the organic components present in wastewater. One of the importance of seaweed in wastewater treatment are for the removal of nitrogen and phosphorus. What affects excessive nitrogen and phosphorus? It causes eutrophication in water bodies due to the increased frequency of harmful algae blooms and hypoxia. Eutrophication has become the primary water quality issue for most of the freshwater and marine ecosystems. Why? This causes a decline in coral reef health and loss of coral reef communities, increases the incidence of fish kills, and also decreases water transparency. Seaweed's capability of storing high concentration of nitrogen in its tissue is its most important ability. Extracellular transfer is the attraction of phosphate by active site on the surface of bioabsorbent and chemical bonds, while intracellular transfer is the biotransformation and intercellular accumulation. The example of wastewater treatments using seaweed are tested in aquaculture water and shrimp wastewater. That is all from me. My friend will continue to explain more on the importance of seaweed in wastewater treatment. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Muhammad Safi bin Shukri and I will continue on role of seaweed in wastewater treatment. So first is of phenolic compounds. So phenol is used for production of antiseptic, synthesis of dyes, bioplastics, petrochemical and pesticide chemical industries, also in production of drugs, herbicides, perfumery, pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. Phenolic pollutants widely existed in wastewater discharged from chemical and plants and also petroleum refineries. Phenolic compounds bioabsorption using seaweed has been described as hydrophobic and has donor-acceptor interactions. Next is removal of dyes. Dyes come from textile, paper, and pulp making, and also food coloring industries. So dyes is toxic, carcinogenic, hazardous to aquatic organisms, and mammalian animals. So dyes is not biologically degradable and resistant to aerobic digestion. Absorption of dyes by seaweed is mainly due to the presence of active functional groups such as hydroxyl, carboxyl, carbonyl, amine, and sulfate, which participated in the bioabsorption process. Example of wastewater treatment in removing dye using seaweed is malachite green can remove methylene blue. Next is removal of heavy metals. Heavy metals are toxic and carcinogenic, non-breathable, are easily accumulate in living organisms. Also, metal bioabsorption has high efficiency even at small amount, low cost, no additional nutrient requirements, easy handling, and zero detrimental effect towards the environment. There are both real water and simulated water tests for the absorption ability of seaweed. Iron essentially where the predominant mechanism is involved in the removal of heavy metals present in the wastewater was also the subject of studies. It was also noted that some of ions born to biomass was similar to the sum of metal displaced from the biomass. In fact, the natural cation exchanging properties of seaweed is due to the presence of functional groups such as carboxyl and sulfonic groups on the surface of all red, brown, and green seaweeds. Chemical composition of cell walls vary among types of seaweeds, causes different attraction for metal bioabsorption. Some example of seaweed for heavy metal removal is Sargassum species can remove cadmium and zinc ion. Sargassum hystrix can remove manganese ion. So conclusion, bioabsorption using seaweed is a promising method with naturally existing raw material and a higher efficiency with low cost investment on treatment. It is noticeable that very few studies use real wastewater for the treatment and most are simulated. So for the future studies, we must focus more on treatment using real wastewater. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi doctor. My name is Afifin Noraha and I will be talking about the economic importance for seaweed as direct human food. A little bit of introduction. In Asian countries in particular, a variety of alga species are used as food for both humans and also animals. They are unique food as they have high abundance of minerals, proteins, vitamins, fibers, and functional compounds for medicine. In some algae, they are traditionally consumed as soups and vegetables, while others they can be used as condiment and also sauce. They are useful in food and pharmaceutical industry and also act as a source of food ingredients, nutraceuticals, food supplements, food hydrocolloids, and biotechnological products. And the presence in high concentration of iodines allow their use as a food supplements for its metabolism stimulating function. And the first one I will be talking about microalgae. Microalgae are a single cell organism and can only be seen under a microscope. They are widely distributed in freshwater and saltwater ecosystem in which they are at the bottom of food chain, which also means that they are part of the primary producer. And Pliny the Elder primarily described about the fucus seaweed and its usefulness in the treatment of gout in his Naturalis Historia. And in addition, a famous Greek doctor, Dioscoride Pedanio, recommended that it is used against skin rashes, gastritis, intestinal and liver disorders. However, in South America, the lake algae is very important for the people as they are cultivated, collected, dried, reduced to powder, and used both in preparation of daily food products such as bread, pasta, biscuits, or drinks, both as supplements to fill nutritional deficiencies, improving the well-being of the humans with a tonic and regenerating effect on the immune system. And lastly, the ability of microalgae to grow on organic substrate, both in the presence and absence of the light with the synthesization of various functional substances, has caused interest in many industrial sectors such as nutraceutical and also pharmaceutical. In the next one, I will be talking about macroalgae, and the first one is Phaeophyta brown algae. Phaeophyta brown algae, they produce a large amount of mucilage, alginates, and are useful for maintaining algal hydration as they are rich in carbon and iodine hydrates and so have been widely used for the treatment of endemic goiter. And the most important function of brown algae is related to the abundance of iodine contained in them. They are in fact widely used by the herbal and pharmaceutical industry for the production of products against hyperthyroidism and metabolism stimulants. They are useful in the formulation of herbal and pharmaceutical products used in low-calorie diet as they have alginates and mucilaginous substances that have satiating properties and can reduce the absorption of fats and also sugar. And alginic acid is used in the food industry as a thickener and stabilizer in the preparation of pudding, glazes, cream cheese, meringue, and especially ice creams because it prevents the formation of ice crystal even at a low temperature. And alginic acid can also eliminate heavy metals and many toxic substances from the body, thus making algae an indispensable food in the diet of those who are forced to live in a particularly contaminated environment. And alginate is effective even in a small amount and do not alter the taste of food as they are low in calories and are also used for the preparation of dietetic products. And that is all for my part. Thank you.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And we continue to the second macroalgae, the Rhodophyta, which is the red algae. Firstly, the red algae has higher protein component than brown and green algae. In red algae, the lipid component is very low, but rich in omega-3, which are very important because human bodies are unable to synthesize these acids, which can only be taken through food. Agarose and carrageenans are the most important polysaccharides present in red macroalgae. And in the food industry, carrageenans are very useful for the preparation of dietetic foods such as syrups, but the most frequent and specific use of these substances is in the dairy sector. The red algae also has the gelling properties that are used in the preservation of canned meat to improve the appearance of yogurts and cheese, clarify wine and fruit juices, and provide consistency to jams and puddings. And the last microalgae, which is the chlorophyta, the green algae. The sea lettuce, or the scientific name is Ulva latuca, is the example of the green algae. The sea lettuce has a wide variety of chemical compositions, and it is rich with high food value substances such as amino acids, fatty acids, vitamin B and C, calcium and magnesium, and this causes the sea lettuce to be considered as an excellent natural supplement to preserve the muscle from cramps. Sea lettuce also is oftenly consumed as food both in the form of soups and salad. As an example, in Scotland, they are oftenly consumed in the form of soups and salad or eaten raw. And last but not least, the conclusion. Okay, firstly, the seaweed contain natural compounds that can be used in food. For a period of time, seaweed has been used to make food and phytotherapy products. And lastly, the seaweed also used to activate this physiological mechanism in the deep layers of human tissues, allowing for the drainage and firming of the tissues, thus preventing cellulite and aid in skin relaxation. Thank you.